going to let Justin take over for the second.
Everybody, thanks for your patience. I apologize. It didn't end up in my calendar, so I'm grateful for the reminder. Anyway, good to be with you all. And I've got free reign, right? I can talk about whatever I want to talk about.
You can. I'm going to turn my video off because I'm going to drive.
Cool.
But I'm still here listening.
Sounds good. Hello, everybody. For those that don't know me, my name is Justin Stoddart, and I work with Old Republic Title Company. So I'm one of the, I guess, a sales executive. Is how I'm, I guess, referenced in my kind of my day job. I have an opportunity 2 times a week in which I host a podcast called the Think Bigger Real Estate Show, in which I go out and I seek out really intelligent people and bring them onto my podcast. So if you don't yet follow me there, I would encourage you to go just search my name, Justin Stoddart, and then search the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. And I'm actually going to kind of do a little bit of a summary of the past couple episodes that I think will be really helpful. It was Tuesday's episode, and then the one that I did today. And if either of these are of interest to you, you can go find the full episode. And I also create a transcription to where you can kind of go through pretty quick and read. And that's actually available on my website, which is justinstoddart.com/podcast. In fact, I'll write it up here. But kind of the full notes on both of these will be available here within about an hour. So if you just go to that website right there, you'll find more details on these episodes. So the first one was a gal by the name of Melissa Machat, and she's out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Comes out of the Keller Williams world, and a really bright gal. Her story is interesting. She moved to Las Vegas from the Southern California area, and she said she was just a hustler. She would just do whatever kind of job made sense. She was working at the poker tables. Somebody said, "You're really good with people. You should be in sales. That's where the money's at." And so she said, "Okay, well, what should I sell?" So she decided real estate, got a real estate license, and she said, "I had no idea that it was commission only. I had no idea that I was an independent contractor." She was pretty clueless when she got started. And within a fairly short period of time, she was having some good success, kind of really plugged into the Keller Williams training. You could hear kind of a lot of the things that she was saying that was very familiar to me, that I know she learned, at Keller Williams. And she had started to have enough success to where it was starting to impact her business or her family life negatively. And her husband's like, "You're never here. And when you are here, you're looking at your phone the whole time." And each of you will probably get to that point at some point. And hopefully you could identify it before it gets to that point to where somebody close to you doesn't have to call you out on it. But she said, "I started to realize that there were things that were keeping me, bottlenecks that were keeping me from being my best self." And part of her kind of quest for personal development to become a better person, a better wife, a better everything, she got interested in neuro-linguistic programming, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it's essentially the programming of your brain, right? This is kind of the subconscious or unconscious part of your brain that takes up 80+% of the activities during the day that you do are not really conscious. Your mind isn't having to actually physically think about it. For example, when you breathe in, breathe out, you aren't having to remind yourself of that, thankfully. Oftentimes, even when you drive, which is kind of scary, right? You'll get home and you will have people you'll be like, "How did I get here? I know I got here in my car, but boy, I don't remember much about my commute." Anybody here have that experience before where it's it's kind of scary. I'm home. I know I drove here. I know it was me. I know I was awake because I'm alive, but I don't remember much of it. When you start to do kind of routine tasks over and over, your subconscious mind starts to take over. And I've learned from other sources that the reason why your brain does that, and this will all tie into real estate here shortly, I promise. Sounds like Tracy watched the interview, so thank you for chiming in, Tracy. But what ends up happening is because your brain can't focus on everything going on around it at any given time. There's so much stimulus coming at us that it has to specifically choose things to look at. And so naturally, it tends to go on autopilot on a lot of the stuff that isn't super important. Now, you might think driving is super important. It is if you don't know what you're doing, right? You remember back when you were 15, 16, you were learning how to drive. You were all in, you're white knuckling it. You were staring at the steering wheel and super cautious, but now it's second nature. And she went on to say that much of the reason why we maybe set goals and create activities and don't do them is because of our subconscious mind. Anybody here like ever had that experience where like, okay, I'm going to make X number of calls. I'm going to reach out to my sphere. I'm going to do this or this and this. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I didn't do that. Anybody, am I the only one that has that experience? We all have it, right? And she talked about how your conscious mind is the goal setter. Okay. So consciously, I'm like, yes, I'm going to have a great year in real estate. Yes, I'm going to do these things. And then your subconscious mind says, not so fast, right? Because it's uncomfortable to you. And your subconscious mind is your goal getter. So you've got your goal setter and your goal getter part of your mind. And what ends up happening when those two are not in alignment, that your subconscious starts to sabotage your conscious mind to where even though you set big goals, you don't achieve big goals because under the surface of what you're saying on the outside, there's an internal voice that actually kind of trumps everything else. That internal voice actually is the one that kind of dominates. And it's the one that actually kind of sets your pace. And it's interesting because sometimes we wonder like, man, why did I not do that? Why am I not doing those, the right activities or doing the things that Chantel's teaching me? Like she's telling me to go do these things and I'll have success. And by the way, Chantel has like a track record, like this wake of people who, when they follow her advice, they have success. So my point in this is that you guys are surrounded by like the best training in the world. Like literally Keller Williams is voted year after year as like the best training company in the world. There's no that like, this isn't like a new form of like neurology and brain science that no one else has ever done. There's actually a recipe for having success in real estate. The only question is, will you take the steps and do the activities that Chantel's teaching to then give you the results? Like that's the only thing that's in question right now. And so my hyper focus on this topic today is to give you kind of some understanding as to what might be happening when you feel like, I know I should have done that today, but I didn't. And oftentimes we end up confusing preparing to work with work. It's like, okay, I got to get my business cards in. As soon as I do that, then I promise I'll go talk to people, right? It's like, one more thing. My desktop is really disorganized and I can't possibly do work without it. It's funny. I have a kind of a digital media business with my podcast and others. And there's some people right now that are making crazy amounts of impact and income. And I look at their website and I'm like, that looks terrible. But I'm like, that should be a lesson. Like, we don't have to have everything perfect before we go do anything. Okay. And I think sometimes our subconscious mind tries to trick us to say that we need to know everything before we can do anything. Not true. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know something. And the reality is you're surrounded by Chantel and other great trainers that can help you to take the next step. That's all you need to know is like, what's the next step? And so back to what Melissa on my podcast taught us. She said, okay, so you've got your goal setter and your goal getter. Okay. So how do you get those two in alignment? Like once you come to the realization of like, okay, I'm setting goals, but I'm not doing the activities to set the goals. Now what? And she actually talked about 4 key questions that we need to ask ourselves that will help to kind of interrupt that unconscious mind. In fact, I'm going to pull it up here on my screen because I don't know that I've memorized them all. So give me just a quick second here. And I am going to bring up my notes and we'll read through this together. I think you'll find this interesting. This is an important couple of questions to be able to ask yourself. Okay. So here's the website. This is Melissa Machat here. Machat, I think is how she pronounced it. So she's an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming expert, top agent, team leader, coach. Okay. So I'm going to click on the episode. So here's where the other episodes are at, which you guys will find we'll get a lot out of these. So when I go to her episode here, I'm going to zip down. So this is the whole transcription of the interview. Tracy, I don't know if you knew this was here, but this will help since you follow the show. This will help you to go back and really kind of go deeper on these things. Okay, give me just a quick sec here. I'm just scanning down here. Okay. So here's what she says. She says the definition, because I asked the question here. That's the question. Okay. If you know what you should be doing and you're not doing it, why? Like how do you interrupt that? And she says, so they say alignment, which I think is kind of a buzzword. She says, find alignment. She was like, what the heck does that mean? And then she goes on to say, let's see, the definition of alignment is when you say you're going to do something and you do it. Your conscious and your unconscious are in agreement. Okay. So that's the key. So let me jump down here. And I actually shared the point of that point of the interview. I said, I've actually had I've grown to become aware that when my conscious mind, when I'm saying a goal, if I listen very carefully, my mind will be telling me what I really think about that goal. So let's say I want to make $1 million this year, right? Let's throw out some crazy big number. I want to make $1 million this year. If I say that out loud and you listen very carefully, and my subconscious mind says, dude, you're not making $1 million this year, right? And it might not exactly sound like that, but that's the voice you got to listen to. And that's the one you've got to train, okay? That's the one that actually will dictate whether or not you believe you're going to do it or not, okay? So here are the questions. So the first question literally is you actually stop and ask yourself, say it out loud, see what pops up. The first question is, what is causing me to feel this way? Okay. So again, these questions are designed from a neuro-linguistic programming component, like how you interrupt the subconscious mind. You stop and ask yourself this question: what is causing me to feel this way? Okay. So that's question number one. So for example, she said here, now I know I'm supposed to be picking up the phones and I'm not doing it. Okay. What's causing me to feel like that? What's keeping me to feel like, what's causing me to be scared of calling my friends to tell them I'm in real estate? Like, what is going on here? Why do I feel this way? Right. And the second question, this is actually her that said it. Number two, what outcome am I avoiding? Okay. Like, what am I afraid of? Why do I feel this way? Like, what's the outcome I'm avoiding? Sometimes we're sabotaging ourselves because we've got too many buyers and we don't want to let them down. And so we're actually not doing the work because we don't want to let them down. Or let's say that we're, the outcome is I don't want my friends thinking I'm salesy, right? So I don't want to contact them because I don't want it to feel like a sales call. Like, that's what I'm trying to avoid. And then you just go deeper on that and say, like, am I salesy? Am I like, you can start to kind of interview yourself and find out, like, why do I feel the way I'm feeling? What am I trying to avoid? Okay, those are the first two questions. The third question is actually taking your mind, instead of focusing on the negative, we rewire it to start to focus on the positive. Okay. So the third question is, what do I want? Okay. And just this morning, I was on a webinar. It was being taught, if you could say, okay, what amount of money, in my life would make all of my financial concerns go away and give me the life I want? I would encourage everybody here to think, like, what is that number net after taxes? Is it $5,000? Is it 10 grand? Is it 20 grand? Is it 30 grand? Like, what's the number, right? What's the number where you say, like, I'm good. Like, and I'm feeling really excited. I get to invest in my future. I get to go on a vacation. I get to maybe upgrade to the house I want, right? Like, what is that number? Like, what do I really want? My guess is, since we're talking about a business environment, that's probably what we all want. We have a certain income level that's consistent, that kind of gets us, I'm in a good spot. Okay, good. I don't have to worry, right? I don't have to be concerned about this. Okay. So I would identify, what is that, right? What is that? Like, what is that number that I want? And it's not just that, right? You can apply this to all areas of life, but of course we're talking about business right now. Okay. Once you kind of identify, like, what is it that I want? Okay. The final question, let's see here if I can find it. Give me a quick sec. I might've missed it here. Should I highlight these a little bit different? Or this might even be just the call to action as you guys go through this interview and find question number 4, so you don't see me bumping around in here. Question number 3, I can't find it right now. It's right in here, kind of right in this area anyway. But those questions, again, I think will allow you to reprogram your subconscious mind instead of just being on autopilot, right? Because going back to that first example of, like, I'm on autopilot, I'm doing what I've got these goals that I've set, but then my day-to-day is not looking any different, right? And you start to feel this, like, man, am I disillusioned? I've got these big goals, but I'm still doing the same thing. Like, what is the disconnect? Start asking yourself these questions. Okay, it'll start to reprogram your brain. That was the most recent one. Okay, let me unshare my screen here. Okay, so was that helpful? If it was, maybe put in the comments, just say yes, helpful. Copy down that link so you go back and get the fourth question. If I think of it in the meantime, I'll let you know. That wasn't a tricky way to get you to my website. It was actually, I actually couldn't remember it. So thank you, Chantel. Yeah, if this is helpful, again, please put it in the comments. Now, I'm also going to put my email address here. Feel free to email me here, and I'm happy to assist you with any of your title and escrow needs. Kind of maybe one thing that kind of sets me apart here, and then I'll share kind of the second interview that I think will be really helpful to you, is that there's a number of title companies you could choose from, right? I would say we all have a pretty high level of service. The thing that I think sets us apart is that my aim is to actually help you have more escrows. And I work very carefully, very closely with our agents to help them create a business plan, follow the business plan, and unlock things that are in their way. I do that through the content from my show, as well as kind of individual conversations like this to help you get there, kind of to help you overcome what's keeping you from getting your goals, not just setting your goals. Okay, so anyway, thanks for the comments there. Let's see, the other interview that I just got done, a gentleman by the name of Jeff Lobb. And Jeff owns a company called SparkTake Media. He was voted one of the 100 most influential people in real estate. Pretty awesome. I just seriously got done with this interview like 40 minutes ago. Great guy. And he was talking about the importance of adding value outside of the transaction. Okay. So one of the things that you'll see a lot of agents doing is putting a lot of focus on their client experience, which is amazing. You should, right? That's kind of the baseline, I would say, though. You have to have good experience. Like, you have to have a good client experience or your clients won't come back. But how do you start to add value outside of the real estate transaction? How do you add value to where you can be staying in contact and adding value long beyond the time that your clients use you? Because when you do that, then you're top of mind, right? You're top of mind when they need when they have a real estate question. You're top of mind when, when their friends have needs. And actually kind of points a little bit to the book that I wrote, which is right over my shoulder here, called The Upstream Model. And you'll see that there's on my website, when you go to there, you'll see an opportunity to get it for just the cost of shipping and handling. But in the book, I talk about a new way of getting warm referrals in your business. I think everybody here wants to have warm referrals, more so than cold leads, right? If I could say, let's say, for example, let me see some of the names up here. Let's see, Megan or Ashley or Masha. Did I say that right? Masha? Not sure how. Sorry, I didn't mean to make
Masha.
Masha, very pretty. Cute dog in the back too. I like it. So if I could ask any one of you, if I could give you one cold lead or one warm referral, what would you want? My guess is you'd all say, yeah, I'll take the warm referral, right? Someone that says, oh yeah, hey, use Megan, right? Like that would be way better. What if I said 2 cold leads versus 1 warm referral? You're probably like, I'd probably still take the warm referral. Depends on how cold is cold, right? And what I teach in my book and what Jeff and I were discussing today is, how do you get more warm referrals? How do you get it to where you have other people that are referring you? One way that I'm sure Chantel has taught you well is to actually start creating a database, right? That's the beautiful thing. What Keller Williams is doing is building this amazing tool called Command that allows you to really keep track of and stay in communication with your database. But how do you start to add in people in there that can not just do business with you, but start to refer you, and refer you not just once, but refer you multiple times, and not just multiple times, but maybe once a month or multiple times a month? You see, there are people in our society, in our community, in our marketplace, in the marketplace, let's say like a financial advisor or a CPA or an attorney, or sometimes even a painter or a hairdresser. There's certain people who just happen to be in conversation with people, and they, in the course of their everyday work, and that's the key, in the course of their everyday work, they uncover the fact that their clients are going to be making a real estate move in their future. Okay. Not because they know you, like you, trust you, and they want to give back to your business. It's because as they go about their day, they just happen to uncover that fact because maybe they're painting someone's house who's getting ready to move, or because they're making adjustments to someone's investment portfolio because they're getting ready to buy a home or whatever, right? There are people out there that's they're stumbling upon this. And what I find is in most cases, those people are not referring that business to a realtor for a couple of very key reasons. The most prominent is that there aren't realtors that are very intentionally and strategically working to add value to that partner in such a way that that person feels compelled to want to give back, right? So if you want to be a good referral getter, you've got to be a good referral giver. So I would encourage you to think through your client experience. When your clients ask you for a whatever, you fill in the blank, a good attorney, a good this, a new that, make it a point every time they say that to go and find somebody, not only to give to them, but interview somebody from that profession that you can give to more clients in the future. Because you start pouring value in someone else's lap and it's going to come around. It will come around. It just will. If you find the right person, right? So that's something that you can start doing like right away. Is anytime you hear any of your clients asking for anything, recognize that they're probably not the only client that's going to need that. And it would make really good sense for you to then go find someone in that profession to say, hey, my clients oftentimes ask me for a painter. I'm looking for somebody that not only takes great care of my clients, but is willing to also ask their clients if they're open to, or if they're painting because they're buying and selling. Is that a question you'd be willing to have? If so, like, I'm really looking for a partner here. I'm looking for somebody that can add value to my clients and that I can refer regularly, and somebody that is really open to just seeing if people are in need of real estate, right? You might not, that might not be the first conversation you have with them, but at some point, as you add enough value, that'll become a very comfortable conversation. So I would encourage you to kind of think through that and just kind of make mental note of that. Anytime you get somebody asking you for something, that should be a heads up that I need to go find that person so that I can start to really refer that person for the benefit of your clients, and also start dumping a lot of value into another professional's lap so that they're inclined to want to reciprocate. Okay. Now on a smaller scale, something that you can do right now with that is to go think of all the professionals that you know. Think about your friends that are in your sphere. Okay. And think about what business they're in. Go find them on Google and on Facebook and go write them a review. Unsolicited. Just go give them, like, go offer them a review. Like, in fact, do that today. I would say go find 3 to 5 people who are professionals that you've used in the past and you've liked their services. Go find them on kind of the major platforms. Maybe it's Yelp, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Google. I would say Google for sure, right? And I would take those people and I would go just write them a genuine review, right? Not expecting anything in return. They'll probably get notified, but if not, or I would probably take a screenshot and say, hey, I just want to let you know that I really appreciate the level of service that you provided. Just gave you a review on Google. And I would not ask or expect anything in return, but it's a great filter. It's a great way for you to identify really quickly if this person is a giver. Because if they're a giver, they'll say, oh my goodness, thank you. Can I give you a review, right? Now this may open up the conversation. They might not know you're in real estate. It might be a good opportunity for you to educate them. If you give a referral and say, hey, by the way, I'm a realtor. I'm going to be looking for great people to refer my clients. I just gave you a great testimonial. Just heads up, like I'm appreciative of you. I look forward to referring my clients your way. If this person is intelligent and a giver, they're going to be like, where can I do the same for you, right? Like, how can I do the same for you? If it's like crickets, you'd be like, okay, this person's a little bit of a taker, or they're so busy that they don't have time to really like reciprocate, which is okay. It's not that they're a bad person, but you're making some judgment calls as to where you're going to invest your time. But if somebody says, man, no one's ever just unsolicited done a review for me, right? That was awesome. Thank you. And then say, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. Like, I'd love to hear how else I can benefit your business. And again, that will open up the doors to, for some reciprocation. But that's something, again, that everybody, again, by the end of the day today, you could easily go find 3 to 5 people who you've done business with. It could be a restaurant. It could be a hair salon. It could be a whatever, right? A yard care. Go find them on Google. If you don't find them on Google, you might reach out to say, hey, I went to give you a review on Google and I didn't see you're on there. Can we meet up? As long as they feel like safe to do so, or even like meet up on Zoom and I'll help you do that. I think your business is the kind that would get a lot of testimonials, and I didn't see you on there. I'm happy to help get you set up. It's just a couple steps. And then you could go to YouTube and say, how do I set up a business on Google to get reviews, right? Again, you don't need to know all this stuff before you get started. Get started and you'll figure it out. You've got the World Wide Web at your hands. You can easily go YouTube and like figure out some stuff to add value to people. But that's the whole key, is to add value to other professionals. And those professionals will, the right ones, right? The ones who you want to partner with will be able to reciprocate quickly. So I think that's all I got, Chantel. I don't know if you're still able to hear, but I don't want to bore you all.
Parked in front of this next house already. So looks like my sewer guy is here.
Is that what you were hoping? Is that helpful?
That was really helpful. That was good.
Cool. Thank you for the opportunity. It's good to see you all. I can't even know everybody that was here. I think I saw some of your faces. I'm going to take a quick screenshot just so that I can remember who I got to hang out with today. So everybody's smiling. I count of 3, 1. Oh, look at that. Austin's just showboat. Look at that smile. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you guys are good. Okay. Well, pleasure. If I could be of help in any way, my email address there, that's the best way to contact me for title and escrow needs. Anytime you can direct title, please think of us. And then go to my website. Again, I just put a ton of free content out there to help agents get better. It's a passion of mine. So please go sign up, subscribe to get updates. And I would love to stay in contact with you guys. So that's it.
This is Tracy. I definitely recommend Justin's book, and you can follow him on YouTube as well to listen to his interviews. I've gotten so much value out of it. So I definitely want to put the pitch in there.
Tracy, you can count that as one of your testimonials for the day. Look at that, guys. Talk about quick action right there. Boom. Thank you, Tracy. Very kind of you.
Yeah.
If you guys have not reached out to Justin yet, it's a really good idea too. He can tell you what
I think she's saying really nice
escrow
things about
does, what they have to offer.
There we go. You were kind of breaking up there a little bit.
And they do, Old Republic does host a lot of our CE credit classes. So like next week they have one for the CE credit, I think it's reverse mortgage. And so that'll be on the newsletter coming out this next weekend or this weekend and stuff. And so if you see Old Republic, always jump on. You'll see, I don't know if you jump on often, Justin, but Cheryl will be on there, I'm sure. So it'll be good.
Good. Awesome. Thanks, guys. And if there's interest also, I do kind of a deep dive business plan with people. So if that's of interest, I've done that for a number of people. Happy to. So just reach out to me and we can talk about how I can help you. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks, Chantel, for the opportunity.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome. See you guys.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
So I think that's it for today. This was taped. If you want to watch it again, reach out to him. If you guys have not already reached out to a title company, he's on that list of title companies that I handed out. And I usually circle him because I think he and Dennis are my 2 favorites for what they have to offer that can help your business. And he can also, he mentioned it, he will help with business planning. So he's got a really great program. Any questions from anybody? Real quiet. Nope. Okay. Well, I guess we'll end it. And thanks, Austin, for recording it for me.
No problem. I got you. It'll be on the website probably by the end of the day. Yeah, I'll try to get it on there by the end of the day.
Okay, awesome.
YouTube highlights.
Okay, thank you. And if anybody needs anything, again, text or call me anytime. Okay.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.